Hello everybody and welcome to another VOD review. Today we're bringing back the Ana within the series with a higher level player than what we're used to reviewing. If you want to introduce yourself, Con, go right ahead.
Hi YouTube. I'm Colton or Cotton. I play Ana in Masters, and I recently picked up Kiriko, and I saw the VOD content on YouTube, and I was really hoping to get better, so I reached out to him, and here we are.
Well, I mean, happy birthday. This is a birthday VOD, so let's get some happy birthdays in the comments. Anyways, moving on from actually going into the VOD review. It's nice that I really appreciate when people watch my content, they reach out to me. So I hope that I can deliver specifically to you now and what your problems are. And especially with Ana, because I haven't talked a whole lot about Ana in this meta yet, but I think it's honestly very important that you talk about Ana in this meta, because like she plays a lot differently now. You can't just throw stuff around. It's a lot more meticulous. But if you ever have any questions, just let me know as we go through the VOD review. But I typically start my Ana VODs with who to nano. So this is something I'm just going to go quick through. I think everyone thinks that nanoing a Genji is very strong, but you can also nano a Tracer if she finds a good flank, specifically on that Zen, and if she needs a little bit of help to finish something off, or when she has Pulse Bomb, if she wants to try to blow up a tank. That's another decent reason to nano a Tracer. And also nanoing the Orisa is pretty strong just in general, because Orisa is strong if anyone doesn't have an ability to get away, like if this guy doesn't have grapple, or if maybe she spears somebody. That's another way that you can nano that. Nanoing Kiriko, I don't really think you're ever going to need to nano Kiriko to keep her alive, considering the fact that she just shouldn't die in general.
Yeah.
So that's that. On top of everything, I do want to talk a little bit more about when you're playing Ana. Now that Kiriko exists, having her in the game changes the way you play when the enemy has a Kiriko. If the enemy does not have a Kiriko, this is like free low for you, so long as you're following through with actually it's really not free low, because you still have to be extremely consistent with all of your abilities, but this is a lot easier to just kind of throw nades on maybe one target and just pressure them out. The problem is when they have a Kiriko, you can't just throw nade and not get value. And what I mean by that is you can't throw nade on a target that your team will not be able to follow up upon enough to force out Suzu. The whole idea is that if you throw nade right now and the Kiriko cleanses that, or does not cleanse that, and you don't kill the target that you hit anti on, now you don't have nade and they still have Suzu. The whole idea is that you want to throw the nade and you want to either force out the Suzu or get the kill, because both are extremely valuable for the rest of the fight with your team. If you don't get any of those conditions, you just lost the fight, and why are you even playing Ana? You should just be playing Mercy. So understand that, sure, Ana's viable, guys. Ana's good. Ana's extremely hard to make work, and even then, at the highest level, I can't really advocate for it right now. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know if I can quite advocate for that at the highest level of play. I might be ignorant because I haven't played in a little bit, but that is the condition that is how you make Ana work. If you're strong enough to make that work at the highest level, more power to you. But realistically, you should probably just be playing Kiriko, Lucio, and Mercy. That's my idea, but I think Ana's fun. So I don't know. Don't be a meta slave. Play what you want to play. That's just how you're going to have to make it work. So now that we've had all of that talk out of the way, we're about 4 minutes in. Let's start the actual VOD. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Same thing with the comments down below. And let's get this show on the road. So you said that you have problems positioning on these maps, which definitely
especially here apparent. Where like they are Genji and Wrecking Ball, so the whole time I'm just getting accosted.
Oh yeah, now you don't have a Kiriko, so this is a little bit weird. Honestly, the best thing you can do, I guess, is stay with your Orisa. It's like the only person that realistically is going to peel for you, but even then, it's going to be a little bit slight.
I tried to hold my sleep, but it was tough this round.
Yeah, this is not an easy comp to play on into. That's a decent sleep. Waking it up immediately is a no-no, especially Ball. He's just not going to die if you have to understand that like your DPS are not there. Your DPS are not ready to follow up upon that. You can't just assume that everyone's ready to kill the Ball when you're running what you are. If you're running like a Torb Cassidy, you can kind of assume that the slept target is what's going to be the target. But in this situation, you have a Tracer Genji.
Okay.
It's just not. And honestly, I'm not sure how you should play this. If you should really try to stick with the Orisa, or you should try to just like play for yourself and like make it really hard to dive you. I'm not quite sure. It really depends on the map probably, but we'll see that as we go on here. It really depends on how good your Orisa is as well. But yeah, because you're like focusing so much on the ball, you're gonna get forced out, and it's not looking good for you. Because we woke up that sub target too early. That's a little bit of a nitpick though, so let's keep going. Again, if you have questions, let me know. So yeah, your Orisa does manage to pull through. Orisa's pretty strong right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think playing with closer to the Orisa is probably the better idea on this map. Because if you play too far away, the Sojourn's also just going to pick you for free. It's a good sleep. Problem is that, yeah, the thing is you don't want to wake that up without your teammates being ready to do it. And to be fair, your teammates really should have just discorded and blew that dude up. They just weren't. They were focused on something else. And then
yeah, he was on the middle of the team that time. I definitely thought we were going to kill him.
I don't know if that's necessarily your mistake. The first one was definitely like you're just waking up these targets way too early. And then
I agree.
The other thing is like you're investing nade into that kill as well when you really don't need to, considering the fact that their heals are not that crazy. And then you don't have, because you're shooting it too early, now you have nothing to help yourself against the incoming dive.
Okay.
Like you're letting him force out the abilities, which is what you don't want to do. You do not want to let him just force out your abilities for free. But this is kind of nitpicky.
I think we probably lose the point there, so.
Yeah. So yeah, now you have a Sombra Tracer. I don't know why, like, dive. Like, that's good now. Like I'm okay with investing that. It's like you're not going to push in now. You don't necessarily need the nade. You're in a safe spot. Keep going here, though. To be completely honest, I wish Overwatch looked more like this and not like what it does currently. Because this is fun.
Yeah, this is.
You throw a nade up there, you kill that guy. You need to recognize that. Especially after she hits a spear, that's just a thing to look for. A little bit picky though. All right. So that's one of those moments where I think the Nano on the Orisa is not good. And
okay.
It's important to realize why, because this is probably going to continue to be a problem when you're playing a brawly kind of tank against a very dive-like core. Nanoing them is not as good as you might think, especially in this ultimate, because they have a very easy time like dashing away. What happened here was sliding away. You have to find them when their movement abilities are not available. And I feel like you only nanoed this because you were scared she was going to die. Orisa doesn't die. In Overwatch 2, currently, Orisa does not die.
Yeah, that is
true. You shoot
true.
Orisa, you are wasting your time. And then the Orisa is actually winning the game. That's why Orisa, I recommend to most players that are like trying to climb to Masters. Because at every rank, you're always just going to get shot at. And it does nothing because you don't die. Even without healing, you will not die on Orisa. I swear. Like you can just get health packs if you play smart. You have spinny javelin thing. So you don't have to really worry unless she was like literally 100 HP. And it was so obvious that she was going to die. But there's nothing you need to do preemptively. But yeah, what's up?
So they made it where Nano doesn't affect EMP now, correct? It doesn't affect the EMP. I think that was one of the changes a couple patches ago.
Probably that would be a little busted if it did, and it's not something I particularly.
It did at the beginning of Overwatch 2. It was very strong.
Yeah, I particularly still never wanted to really use Nano EMP. I felt like those are two really strong ults. I mean, that might be something I don't understand, quite frankly. That might be a good strat, but I still wouldn't look to Nano off the EMP because EMP should just win you the fight off on its own. I don't know.
So how long should I be holding?
Like, I don't know.
Like right here, we're beginning the fight. I just want to try to start a strong fight. The Tracer is like right in front of me, so I mean, I can't, like you said, she's not on a good flank. So I didn't really know who to nano because like I guess I could have saved it.
You don't need to yet. You need to wait until the fight develops a little bit more and people become activated. No one's activated right now. No one's in a good spot. There's no way to enable someone because they're not in a place where they are already enabled by themselves.
Okay.
It's a catalyst for more, not let's start this, let's make it happen. Because if you do that, you waste on like 2 seconds and now you don't get as much value. Now in lower elos, you might need to kick someone in the butt, be like, all right, let's get going. But in this elo, that's just not going to happen. People have a general understanding of what they're doing. Yep, that was a good nade on yourself. The Orisa just went in too deep when people weren't ready. Yep, I'm okay with you being here. You need to kind of just get out. Yep, that's what you're doing. Yep, taking some shots. That's fine. All right. All right. You have a Brig now.
Yeah, I think he goes back to Zen.
Yep, you get dove, you get killed. Yeah, that's just general, like, movement, aim stuff. To be honest, it just kind of seems like... It just seems like maybe Ana wasn't the play in this comp. But it's just like... Ana, it's either Ana or Orisa needs to kind of switch it up. I think Orisa should have... I think Orisa just should have went, like, Winston. Or, like, Diva. But it definitely...
Yeah, so I picked up Kiriko for these maps and comps that I have a hard time into, because like, but I don't like playing as much because it's less exciting because your positioning is just like, oh, I'm in trouble, I can climb up a wall or teleport or Suzu myself, so it's like, it's a little more boring to me than playing Ana.
The thing with Kiriko, in those situations, that's a mistake, quite frankly, because then you're getting your abilities forced out, but that only happens in higher elos. I agree with you that Kiriko's just boring. Like, she's just not fun. Like, I agree with what you're saying. It's just this situation, it's hard for me to really find something you're consistently messing up. Because, like, you guys just are playing an incoherent comp that doesn't really pressure them, and they get to just set up and do whatever they want. So it's like, even if you position correctly, they're still just going to walk on you in the back line. Like, their comp just kind of counters yours. And you don't have a Kiriko to really stop what they're trying to do. So, yeah, this is a little bit aggressive.
Well, the point is, I'm trying to get to the point, maybe.
Yeah, but...
Okay. They actually touched. I was not expecting. I should have gone Kiriko here, but...
Yeah, but this fight was pretty much lost.
Yeah,
they had a foothold of it, so... Unless you have good ultimates to stop that, you're not going to win that. Hopefully you guys get mecha up. You don't get mecha base, but it seems like you do win this map, so it's not the end of the world. I don't know. Again, it just kind of seemed like they just on that map they can just kind of do whatever they want. They can set up and then just kill you, and you don't have anything to peel really. You don't have anything to counter pressure. So like, I don't know if you understand chess at all. I've been saying this a lot. I've been using a lot of chess analogies recently, but like,
I love chess.
It's like, oh no, like they targeted my queen, but then you can get out of that by just targeting their queen with some other piece and trading it and being aggressive instead of being defensive, which is the whole idea of dive versus dive. It's like, well, you can kill my backline, but I kill yours too. So it's a lot of
being, you know, really good support, top level. But you like to play Ana in a map. Like if we're playing that last Busan downtown or whatever, and they're playing like Winston, Genji or whatever, do you take the bullet and switch?
I'm gonna be honest with you, like if my team's running a freaking Orisa Sombra Tracer, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably just gonna go like Kiriko or Moira.
Yeah.
And just because like Ana isn't really, it's just not gonna do well. To be honest, the composition in general is just really lackluster and bad.
Yeah, because with the Orisa and then the dive DPS, it's like
not good. It's just not good. The Orisa doesn't pressure anything. The DPS are kind of stuck. It's just not good. It's just
and then the Zen is the other healer, and he's playing it into the same thing. So
like the composition's terrible, and it kind of makes it so that you have to play the meta support to maybe salvage things. It's just bad. Like I don't know. It's making it really hard to coach, and that's why I'm hoping this map there's something more consistent that I can actually like fix. I mean, obviously, like the macro things, like thinking through things like, okay, I slept the ball. If I wake this up and do not kill, they get a free dive on me, and I just use nade too, and now I'm just dead. Like that is a general like let's think about things kind of idea, specifically against ball. How, like, that's not them being better. That's just you being dumb in that situation, for lack of a better term. And now that Zen, I guess that's kind of on you. But still, Zen...
Yeah.
Yeah, nading that. Yep, that's good. Oh, you could have hit that. That's okay. They followed up. I think in general... Oh.
I didn't know he was deflecting.
That wasn't even on the hitbox from what I saw. It's a wide hitbox, though. It just kind of seems like you have to support your Orisa in situations where, like, it's not, like, you sitting out in the open. And downtown is a very open map, so this map's, like, easier. We can kind of see how you can play with the Orisa a little bit better. It might have just been a map thing.
Yeah, I don't like downtown at all.
It's fun when you're dive v dive, but brawl v dive, you're just gonna lose.
Yeah, I do have a really, really bad VOD that's more coachable.
Yeah.
I played really bad.
Yeah, but if you know that you played bad, it doesn't really help because you already know what you can do better.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing. Let me analyze this map for you and tell you why like playing with Orisa might be a little easier on this map. Like, the thing is, if Orisa's playing here, you have this wall, you have more to play around. But when on the other map, like this is the open, this is mid, this is where Orisa is, and you're like all the way. You either see her being open while being open, or you are in cover and like it's super awkward to try to hit a shot. Where like, and in that situation, it's so hard to make something happen as Ana. I feel like it's better to just run Kiriko.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well, I think the thing about it's so hard, like ranking up because you're just solo queuing and ranked, is that you're gonna get these situations where you have the guy that's playing Orisa because she's the meta tank, at least down here, and she's gonna play Orisa, so you have to just try to do whatever you can to try to win the game. And
it's just weird with Ana right now when it's the way that it is. It's just an odd game right now. But that fight went a lot better because you just played covered better generally, and they didn't get to jump on you because you were around your Orisa, and the whole like everything combined just made it easier. So still playing with the Orisa around cover, distancing ourselves from the ball, staying next to the Zen, which is generally pretty good. Yep, forcing out ball, letting your tracer do that.
She was low. I was scared.
Yeah, she was low.
We had nano visor too, so it was kind of a throw.
She was low though, and she's pretty close to the Zen, so I'm not against too much. I think it was a little fast, but she will kill that Zen there. We can understand how that's a better nano then when Zen is here as opposed to Zen is up here. Like, she actually can get something done. Even if everyone runs away, she still gets the pick, or at least forces out the trank. In this situation, she even got a little bit more. So that's one of those situations. I know you didn't read that, but that's like understanding that, you know?
Yeah. I definitely have a thing where I see my tank is critical and just press Q. When they probably have a lot of health, especially as Orisa anyways.
Orisa is just one of those ones where it's not always necessary. You have to remember whether or not she has gold. That's the primary cooldown. But now they have a lot of ults coming. You want to save that sleep dart for the blade. Something to think about when playing against dive teams. Don't want to be in a bad position that forces you to use sleep early. Backing off because they're starting to use ultimates. I try to get to a less open spot. Yep, back left. That's honestly fine. The thing is, you've got to make sure that you're not always just, I'm going to use the nade immediately. Because if you use nade, then you are susceptible to the rest of the dive if they are activated. Now, here's the thing. If it's a different situation and they are all like back here at this choke, shoot, I can't. The choke back over this way. If they're all over there and they're not literally in here ready to dash onto you, I think it's okay to secure the kill. But even then, it's like the Genji was right there. You want to make sure that like you at least hit the nade on the Genji too, kind of idea. Especially like if you're going to use sleep on ball, you need to understand that you get that kill if you want to guarantee that kill. So if you needed to nade to get the kill, I guess that's fine. That could be up in the air. But the next step is, okay, that ball is low. We kill him instantly, easy. You need to think about the Genji blade comes after. Or if maybe the Zen didn't die and you could be aggressive with that, but the Zen was in aggressive position. The thing with Ana and Overwatch 2 is that you literally have to think of every possible situation to make her work within how it currently works in the game. So it's maybe if your Zen didn't die, you could invest the nade to secure the kill because then he just tranks the blade. but he died
Yeah.
because he was in an over-aggressive position, and that's something you need to be aware of when you're playing in ladder. So you're
Yeah,
just going to die to
definitely
this blade.
didn't really
Or,
think about
okay,
it.
this Genji just sucks.
Yeah, he does eventually, but we're kind of.
You have the nade there.
Where's he at?
Yeah, you got lucky there, but
Yeah, I let my wrist die kind of.
yeah. So they used a lot of vaults, but still, it could have been played better. A lot of what it seems is that you need to understand the methodical approach of how Ana has to work now that Kiriko exists, and like pressures are just different in the game. We're not directly observing that in this game, but we're observing other things that are a little more simpler methodically that will make that I think you'll have the same problems against an actual Kiriko when the time comes. Which sounds like a little bit too 5-head, but Ana low-key kind of has to be 5-head right now. Okay, yep, we trank. You immediately... I don't think you need to clear mines here. I think you just could be more aggressive. Yeah, you missed the nade. Yeah.
That was I got.
You missed the nade.
Knocked up. Yeah.
To be honest, you shouldn't... If you hit the nade, you don't die.
Did I get knocked out of it? It was hard to tell.
You threw it too far down the stairs. It was a weird.
okay.
It was a weird angle. Good sleep. That's a good nade because you can follow up on it, and no one is in a spot that they're gonna instantly just like run on you.
Okay.
That's what you kind of have to look at here. No one's in a spot where they can take advantage of the fact that you're weak right now and you tried to kill the ball. Still was a little bit early on the shot on the ball, but your team really should kill that, and they do.
I think I was talking in comms at that point. I think I probably said it.
Okay.
Got trans.
So like this is another thing. It's you gotta think a little bit deeper now that you're in Masters. Like here's the thing. Okay, we want a nano visor. What is the next thing that I will need to try to make sure that it's good? Especially when you're playing against a Zen, which you probably haven't done in a while. So let's just reminder, like having nade for that trank makes him think twice about when is the time to trank. I need to time this better. If he doesn't time it better, you just get a free nade and a free kill essentially out of the trank matchup. Something to think about.
Okay. So when you have those combo ults and there's a Zen, do you try to you let the DPS ult to get the trans out without the nano, and then you nano after?
Well, typically I wait for the DPS to have they will find the time that they need to do it unless they are getting focused in their crit, and I want to make sure that I don't lose my win condition. That's like the one time I'm gonna nano first. The thing here is I'm thinking, okay, I need nade before this dude visors. I'm going to make sure and communicate, hey, I don't have nade. Wait for my nade before you visor. Something like that. Wait for nade for visor. 3 seconds. That's what I would do in the highest rank. I mean, in this rank, people might not... Poop Lord 420 might not care. He might be beaten to his own drum or whatever. Whatever the situation is called. Never mind. But the thing is here, it's like there's another option. It's like, do you want to try to force out the trank before you even visor? Maybe you just want to be aggressive on Zen and take a few shots at him to make him think like, oh, shoot, I need a trank. There's a lot of different things you need to think about. Then, okay, let's just go. And oh, wait, they tranked. Well, that sucks. Like, no, you can make it in your favor. You just need to think a little bit more about what's next.
Okay.
And I don't usually teach people this kind of stuff, but I think this is like a skill that I never taught because it never needed to be taught really because there wasn't a whole lot to it in Overwatch 1. It was pretty simple. You just played the game a lot. You understood it. You got there. Now it's Kiriko, and it's just a lot more difficult. The dude didn't even trank. Well, he did trank. We just skipped past it. So yeah, right here we have nade now. Yeah, cool. This is one of those moments where I should immediately be walking to my team, but he didn't actually force you out there. Whenever you're in a position where you think you're going to start getting dove and you're like in the back, you kind of want to just walk to the team.
Okay. That's a good tip because yeah, that makes sense.
Because then the team can actually help you. It's not always your team's fault. Sometimes it's yours that you're not in LOS or you're not getting help. Yeah, looking for the sleep on ball here. Yep.
He got knocked. Yeah, we got that round.
Still, the idea was there. That's all that matters. I don't know. Do you have any questions about that map?
That one's probably the easiest one on Busan. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
a lot more front to back. There's like cover, and you know it's open enough for me to shoot people. But this one and the downtown, I just no matter what the comp, I always struggle playing on downtown. Even when you hold the point, it's like weird positioning, other than just standing next to your tank.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult with what you have too. That I can't really teach positioning the right way. But this map is actually going to be a lot easier because now here's the thing, right? You can be a lot more aggressive with your utility and a lot more just like all out because they don't really have anything that's going to jump on you for free. You can just kind of be like, oh, I can hit a 4-man ante and I don't have sleep. That's fine. I'll just get a 4-man ante and win the fight because now my team can just walk into them. Before, it's like I slept the ball. Their Genji is ready to jump on me with a damage boost. I have a whole team here. Do I need to nade this? Or can I just wait a little bit unless I absolutely need to secure that kill? There's more to think about. Because here's the thing. In that situation, if they jump on you and they don't kill you when you're running Brawl and the Genji can't get out, you win. In this situation, you have to do a little bit more. It seems that way. Like, oh, if I hit a big nade, I win the game. If I don't, they have a much easier time winning the game. It's a lot. It seems like you need to do a lot more here, but in the other one, it's not about doing more. It's about just doing more at the right time, like just doing things timing-wise correctly. With this map, though, it really depends on like the composition you are on and how you want to play it as a team. I don't know if I could really tell you exactly what route you should take, but there's essentially two routes. You either go left side with like a spammy or a divey composition, or you go right side with a brawl composition. And like in this situation, I'm not really sure what you have.
Again, yeah.
It seems a little bit more dive centric, dive centric. Just you have an Orisa for some reason. It's weird. It's
always weird with a Zen. I like playing Zen, but he's just not it right now.
I think Zen Ana is very strong together, but Kiriko just exists, and that duo doesn't get a lot of value because Kiriko just, like I said, exists. And it's
prime coaching game. I wish I had. I don't think I have one. A replay of Colosio against a Kiriko.
Yeah, Kiriko's fun. Totally. Yeah, I'm loving it. But right, this composition, realistically, you just throw nades into all day, and you should carry the game. That's how it should work. Because they don't have Suzu, and they really shouldn't be able to just follow up on you for free. It should be generally easy to make stuff happen here. Well, so let's see where you might have gone wrong. All right, so we got our first pick. Arisa's walking into a Bastion Sentry, which is a little bit questionable. Up supporting the Zen. That's fine. Rotating away from Sig. This is good rotational, positional ideas here. So great nade. If we do that consistently, it forces them into bad situations. But the Tracer trolled. It's a good sleep.
Yeah.
We're chilling. We can rotate to the right. We could rotate to the right pillar so that we can actually help the Orisa, but that fight fell apart because people lost their ones.
Yeah.
Right here, you're just staggering. You should die faster or get out. That's the mistake you're making right now.
Okay.
Somehow you get out of that, but you really shouldn't. With what?
Yeah, I agree.
With where they were. So in this composition, it's actually much better to nano the Orisa than it was before because they have a much harder time getting away. So that's something to think about.
Let's see. I don't know if I nano. I think I end up saving it for a little bit.
Yeah, you could save it for Blade, but they don't have Trank yet. I would probably just go for it. Teams
so split
very
here.
split.
Yeah.
Also good sleep. To try to like sleep him so that maybe your Genji could kill him before he gets Blade. Like that's an okay sleep. It's probably better if you try to sleep the Sig there, but it wasn't the worst idea.
Yeah, he ended up getting his ult off, but he went above the doorway, so it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like we're going through the left door, someone's going through the right door, or so split.
We did start the fight good. Okay, we walk in here. We need a safe sleep for Visor. I mean, that's actually fine because you
Yeah.
tried to kill him before you did, so like I'm okay with that sleep.
Okay.
Because you targeted the person you wanted to target
Mm-hmm.
before it happened, which I'm not against that. Try to win the fight then and there.
Preemptively.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened with the rest of the team, really. It was just a spread across the map kind of thing.
So right here, you're probably going to nano the Orisa, I feel. Not the good nade, not the good nade.
Yeah, he got the shield.
It's kind of the whole idea here is you want them to walk out into you and try to kill this Orisa. You do the Uno reverse card.
Okay.
You splash their team with the Nano Orisa, go in and win. Like that's kind of how I'm looking at this fight, and I want to win. Because if you try to Nano Orisa, right, and they're not all already committed out of this door, your Orisa now walks through a funnel of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of they're caught out in this open space where you can kill them before you get put in this funnel of damage. And it's a lot easier to hit a nade when they're all in the open here compared to when there's a shield blocking it here.
Okay. Oh, and you can throw it on the door frame behind them and stuff.
Yeah. The whole idea here is that this is a choke. You want them to pass the choke a little bit so that there's a little bit more of an opening instead of like literally just no opening. And the other thing is, if we're thinking of a methodical approach, if I nade everyone in here, nothing's going to happen because we cannot push through a funnel of damage, aka Zenyatta, Bastion, Soldier, and Sigma. Yeah, you're not living that. It's a lot of damage up front. Like a lot of your problems seem to be like timing based, thinking through things and not just throwing nade for free. I try to get a lot of other players that are lower elo to just throw nade the right way because they don't do that. And if you do that the right way, it will climb. You'll climb very fast, and generally you'll learn as you climb. In this situation, it seems like the methodical idea of it just needs to be better. And it really applies to when you play with against a Kiriko, because these are going to be like super big mistakes. But yeah, I don't know why your Orisa's jumping the gun so much. You want them to turn this corner right now. You want them to go in.
Okay.
Like right now, bam, you hit that, and now you can try to go in. But it was still a little bit too early because they were not ready to push through yet, and it didn't get enough value.
Okay.
But like holding on to this hand is fine. The thing is now we missed the sleep on him, and because we used nade too early, it's stuff like that. And then we didn't use nano. It was a lot. We waited too long to make something happen. This still should be a one fight though, unironic. Like you should be able to kill that fine. But still, that because of their execution after what they just did with the Sig ult, they lost. But I think it should have been their fight. But
I do have a question. I don't know if you know the answer.
Yeah.
So you know, Sigma ult does half of someone's health, right?
Yep.
So Nano doesn't.
Help.
Okay. That's
but it does help him clean up targets because he does more damage with his left clicks. So nanoing a Sig and ult isn't that bad.
Okay. No, I mean the damage resistance. Like if I nano my Orisa, or
she would take 50% of that. So she would take like 25% of her health.
Oh, she does? Oh, I thought it always did 50%.
I'm pretty sure it does 25%. That would make the most sense to me. I mean, I haven't done the damage calc. I don't usually play Ana into a Sigma.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Again, a little bit of an early nade if they're gonna just walk in and have it happen. And if it's like, it's just something to think about that now you don't have it here. If they were actually running Lucio, they would have already been on your team, and then the nade's just useless.
Okay.
Instead, what you should do is just poke for damage and you get ult charge, because that's what you're trying to do anyways. Except that in Masters, it's just super slow. In this situation, she's still a little bit out of it, but I mean, that's fine. You guys actually win this game. Wow.
Yeah, they went the Zarya never pushed through choke.
So let's go to paint. I don't know. It's weird telling someone something that's not cooldowns related, but it is kind of cool. It is cooldowns related because the way that you think things.
Tips for sure. I definitely instantly throw their grenade on someone I sleep. Probably too often. Wake them up too soon. I try to ping it sometimes, but sometimes I get lazy. That's definitely something that I do.
It's just that like timing of abilities is something that it was always in the game, but it's kind of it's so much more important now that you don't have the off tank to just kind of like defense matrix when they dive on you. Like you don't have that, and you need to rely more on yourself, so you get punished for misusing abilities a lot more in Overwatch 2 as Ana.
Okay.
And like timing, now that Kiriko is in the game, is everything. And like maybe I should make a video about it and talk about like why, like how Kiriko has changed the game for Ana. And honestly,
I think that would be a good video.
That might not be a terrible video, because it's not like before. It was about Diva DMing, like you have to just worry about Diva DM, and if she eats your nade, you lose the fight, but if you hit the nade, you win the fight. And that was a lot more like straightforward. It was super easy to understand. It was super easy to see. But now it's like everyone's like, oh well, you can just Suzu away an anti-nade. But that's not really how it works. Because you don't, as a Kiriko, you don't want to waste your Suzu on an anti-nade. And you're not really Suzuing. You're not just cleansing for the sake of cleansing. You have to cleanse because there's enough aggression onto that character that they will reasonably die, or you'll lose out on some positioning if you don't Suzu.
One thing that it's still pretty hog meta right now, but it was really bad a couple weeks ago when it was just like hog and Doom every game, and then it always devolved into hog. The anti is like a 3-second shorter cooldown than Suzu. So in the hog v hog battle, if you anti the hog and then they Suzu, then you have anti for like 3 seconds before they have Suzu again.
If the fight doesn't just end then and there. And typically, the fight will end then and there, because the Sojourn would have found enough time to just get a damage-boosted headshot on one of your squishies. So that's the thing, right? Like, when you pick Ana, it needs to be effective when you use your nade. Like, sure, I can force out their Suzu, and that's helpful, but then, like, there's other things. Where did I wait too long to try to force out their Suzu? Because now we might just be in a brawl, and Kiriko does more healing, or like has other abilities, and now that you're running on and they're running Mercy, their Sojourn's a little bit more powerful, and it's like you're making a trade-off there. And it's a very risky trade-off, albeit, especially at the highest level. Because like you, as Ana now, you're not just playing against the enemy Kiriko, you're playing against the enemy Sojourn in Mercy. You're playing against a ticking time bomb. So the big thing is the timing of it, is that you still need to be just as aggressive as you were before with nade, to be completely honest, against the Kiriko. But you need to think about, like, sometimes waiting that extra split second to find 2 targets to anti that might be able to get followed up upon. That is something that's super important to keep finding, because then you force out Suzu easier. And if they use Suzu early, then the fight should just be a free win. But typically, you don't just force out Suzu for free, because you have to actually kill a target, and that's kind of hard to do if they're not just like one shot. So yeah, I probably could make a whole video about that, and to be honest, I probably just will. Like I probably just will next week at this point, because I think people would probably want to hear that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would be, I would watch it.
Yeah. So it kind of goes into the timing idea that we were talking about before. And to be fair, like, it's hard for me to be like, oh, your positioning's bad. It's just like that composition was terrible. It was not easy for me to be like, yeah, you sit here, because even if you sit there, I don't know. It's too much of a headache to kind of coach you specifically on that. What I would say... Well,
yeah, the thing, it sounds so obvious, but definitely the, where you said when you're getting dove, go towards your team. It's so obvious, but I totally needed to hear that.
I mean, yeah, that's... Even then, it's like, sometimes you don't have that option. It's weird. But when in that situation, it's like, don't just like sit there and take the dive. Make sure you're trying to help your team help you, and not running away. But the second thing I'm going to say is thinking about cooldowns. Not necessarily... Yeah, well, timing kind of covers that, but I'm thinking more of like the sleep dart and nano idea. With sleep dart, I'm thinking like, okay, they have this ultimate. Let me think about like how I'm going to use it to do that. You did a decent job at that, so I'm actually just going to move this down to number 3. But I think the number 2 thing would probably be the nano usage. because you did hold on
Okay.
to Nano quite a bit, or you didn't use it in you waited for like a perfect situation, or you used it in a bad situation, which is like, okay, sometime this is number 2. This is number 3. This is a little weird. Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. I think the Nano, we didn't talk a lot about it, but it's also because you didn't really Nano a lot, and there wasn't a whole lot of situations, but it was like Nanoing the Orisa when you're against Dive.
That's a good tip, because that's great. That was
Versus
great.
Nanoing Orisa against Dive, but she's next to the Zen and Mercy. Like, okay, that's one of those weird situations where you actually would Nano an Orisa against Dive. Nanoing your Zen if he's trying to get Trank against enemy Blade, that's another way you could use it if he doesn't have it yet. Trying to set up so that your Nano is better, which again, this all goes into timing, and that's why this is number 1. Like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I don't just Nano right away because their enemy has Trank. Maybe I sleep the Zen, or maybe I hit him with 2 shots, and now he's forced to Trank first, and then we just get 1 afterwards, and I don't have to wait for nade. Stuff like that. Thinking through the game and not just throwing all of your utility and being like, why did nothing happen? You can't just make it not be super valuable anymore. You need to maximize the value you're doing at these lower ranks nowadays, because Kiriko exists, or people have ultimates, and you didn't get punished all that much in Overwatch 1 for it, but now in Overwatch 2 you get super punished for it because you're the carry role as support. When there is not Kiriko on the field, then it's just you exist. It's really boring. But this is all I got. I mean, the sleep dart thing, we talked about that. Whatever you're doing for aim, your aim isn't terrible, but I always suggest Vaxta. It's a code. Or on a paintball, like you said. That's also good.
There's no on a paintball server today. I was sad.
It's weird. It might just be too early. People might be going back to work. I don't know.
No, the timing thing though, it might seem like a small tip, but I'm not the best player ever, but Masters it's not gonna be like horrible gameplay. The timing thing was definitely a big tip, because I feel like a lot of people fall into the trap. They throw their ante, they get like a 4-man ante or something. Like, it's a big ante, but if their team isn't even like pushing in yet, then it doesn't matter.
Yes. I mean, it's very, the thing with a 4-man ante is like, usually you can just like clean up on that. But even then, like a good Kiriko, the best Kirikos, if they're like, oh, that's a 4-man ante, but like their team they don't even have movement cooldowns. I don't really need a Suzu this. And it's still just like, well, the situation wasn't right and we lost the fight, even though we hit a big ante.
Yeah.
So
I definitely fall into that trap. So the timing thing is good.
Yeah. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. If anyone's watching YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, and you just watched some random dude scream at a screen about Ana and Kiriko for the 43 minutes of your life, you should maybe consider subscribing. It would be very nice. If you're already subscribed, thanks for watching this long. Hopefully that positioning guide is actually going to be done sometime soon. It's going super slow because I was spending time with family, and so was the other person I'm working on it with. We're taking good breaks. That's good. That's healthy. Hopefully we get it out next week. It seems like we should be able to, because we got a lot of it done. But we still need to bring it all together. It's going to be a lot of editing too. I don't know. It's going to take a while, but it's going to be good. But yeah, I don't got anything else for you guys. Try to enjoy the game. Try to enjoy the break if you're on one right now. Thank you guys all so much for watching. But until next time, I've got to peace out. And Paz out. See you in the next one.